afternoon and good evening, everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome back to the Ambassador Wing and another episode of Council of the Ones Babylon 5 review. And today, we're going to be wrapping up the TV movie series, and we're going to be watching and giving our thoughts on A Call to Arms. And with me,
Call
as
to
always,
Arms isn't the last movie, though. We've got Legends
Yes,
of
it
the
is.
Rangers, and we've got the
No, we
Lost
don't.
Tales.
No, we don't. Legend of the Rangers does not exist. We only watch good cinema here. We do not watch bad cinema. And what the hell just happened?
Well, we did watch. Well, to be fair, we did watch that Soul Hunter movie last week. I mean,
Yes, we did, but that was a lot of fun. So,
well, I mean, at least Tony Todd is in this one, so you know
that is true.
Yes.
So, as always, if this is your first visit to the council or the Ambassador Wing, welcome. Thank you all for being here today. Or if this is your millionth visit, welcome to you all as well. So, for those of you that have a copy of the movie that aren't part of the council, we will call out the timestamp as we get started, and we will do a countdown here momentarily. So, unfortunately, Lord J is not with us again today. He's been called away to Med Lab. He's working on some cure to some virus or some darn thing. He said it was more important than this. And, well, the progress of science is more important than this. So, but we are here. We are happy that you all are here. Hope you all enjoy the stream. And, of course, share this out with all of your friends who are fans of good sci-fi, quality sci-fi, good entertainment, not cringeworthy bad entertainment. So, with all that being said, my fellow council members, are we ready?
Ready? We have always been here.
As have I. All right, and gentlemen, counting down, and ladies, and those identifying as energy-based life forms have lived for thousands of years, counting down from 3, 2, 1, and play. And play. There we go. And we start off with ISN.
not starting off very cinematic.
Are these a good ISN or bad ISN?
This is the good ISN. This isn't the propaganda arm of the Clark administration. Ground was broken today on Earth Dome for a monument dedicated to many who died during the recent telepath crisis.
It's funny, like in the a lot of Babylon 5 will call it telepath war. They're calling it telepath crisis. I wonder, is it propaganda or does that say something about the group running?
I would say
What's with this very, very reminiscent of Star Trek: The Motion Picture music that they're playing right now. Have you noticed that, Ambassador? Very Star Trek.
Well, unfortunately, I have to play with the mute on, otherwise we get a copyright strike, and I don't want that.
I think it was mentioned that JMS wanted a completely different sound for this. And
Yeah.
Captain Leonard Anderson. Now that's a name that commands respect, because you have to respect a guy named Leonard, especially since it's one of the greatest doctors in the history of sci-fi. His first name was Leonard.
That is correct.
A Galactic Empire is what I do for a living. How are things going on Mars?
I don't know. I'm scratching my head, wondering who they're going to cast as Leonard McCoy in Strange New Worlds. You know he's coming.
I wouldn't know. I haven't been watching it.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-New Trek. I just don't feel like paying for another streaming service. That's the only reason.
I'm kind of the same. I'd watch it if it was on, but I'm not going to get a new streaming service just to watch Discovery or Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, you know what? You're really, to be honest, you're really not missing all that much. To be honest, I mean, it's
It's nice to see the way Garibaldi and Sheridan are interacting like friends, considering
Yes.
all they've been through.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, this is what 5 years after the events of their not their Cerebral Souls.
Yeah, they
And you're being tracked. Oh, okay. Never mind. I think I know who they're being tracked by.
never mind. Never mind.
actually
Yep,
one of the sorry,
It's
one of the
Technomages.
yes, one of the best characters I think in the Babylon 5 universe.
Galen.
Galen. I think he's just a brilliant character.
Yeah, Mountains. That's exactly why I really love the Lost Tales, because of Galen in that movie. He's awesome in it.
That's true. He's excellent in Crusade and excellent in Lost Tales. I believe his dad is also in Crusade. His real life dad.
Yes.
I think we were talking about the last week about the budget for River of Souls. Didn't seem like it had. It was great. I think they used a lot of the money for the TV movies on this one.
Yeah. Because what they did with in the beginning is they reused a lot of footage from season 1, in particular with Sinclair and so on, and you had old Londo. I mean, that was relatively easy, and everybody else pretty much just had a cameo, except for really Delenn. So, and for those of you that are watching along with us, we are at 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So,
I really like the graphics. When they come out of hyperspace.
yeah, they really updated the graphics for the hyperspace effect. It looks,
and you could see that's something I wouldn't mind them doing if they remaster. I know they remastered B5 already, but if they went back and upgraded the special effects a little, like this, you can still tell it's CGI.
Yeah.
And maybe what they did with the Expanse or something like that, adding something with that exterior quality would really would attract a lot more people in, even keeping the same story.
Yeah, I agree.
Actually,
that's one hell of a space dock.
Yes.
That's a quality space dock. Yeah. I like that space dock. I will say, though, however, one of my favorite space docks ever in any movie or show has to be Galaxy Quest. That was one of the best looking space docks ever.
Absolutely. And this movie, the budget for this movie was bigger than all of Crusade combined.
I can imagine.
I mean, you talk about a low budget TV show.
And they aired it out of sequence, which didn't help.
Yep.
But
horrible.
Actually, this movie has probably my favorite Garibaldi moment coming up. But I'll wait till we
get to it.
It comes in 2 parts. Coming up very soon is when Garibaldi threatens Mr. Drake, and then you see him actually carrying it out.
Based on submarine model linear instead of non-linear. Yep.
Actually, it would be interesting. I haven't seen him in the chat here, but Darren Wagner, I see him on Salty Trekker's threat. He used to be a submariner, and it would be interesting to get his take on it.
Yeah. This also, the design of this bridge reminds me of the ships, the Prometheus, and there was another ship from SG-1 when the Earth for when Stargate Command started building ships as well. The design of this bridge and everything reminds me of that.
I think it was actually one of them was actually Prometheus as well.
Yeah,
There was
one ship was called Prometheus. There was a couple others that they built besides that, but I can't remember the name of them.
that's actually another show I'd like to kind of sit down and watch through again sometime. SG-1,
SG-1.
Atlantis were great. Universe took it too far away from the core of what it was, but still a great show. In itself, by itself, it was good. Actually, I do believe the scene is coming up here, the part 1 of the best Cara of Garibaldi.
Yeah. Shut up and do exactly.
That's a new theory.
Daedalus and Odyssey. Bureau 31, yeah, that might be the other two ships that they built that Stargate Command built. Yeah. I will say for the time, the CGI for the ships is actually pretty solid, as is the the dry dock.
Yeah, TNT actually gave them some money for this movie. Because they were launching Crusade, and they're like, we're not spending any money on Crusade, but the lead up movie is going to have to look nice.
Yes, and build a set with the money, and they did a fine job with the set.
Okay, what's going on with Sheridan? Okay. CGI was a video toaster. '20th century television.
I just love the total and complete dumbfounded look on President Sheridan's face. I think that says a lot.
Yeah, because he has no idea what the hell all that meant. Because it's been so long since he had any interaction with a techno mage, he wouldn't get like, "Oh, this is from a techno mage, okay." Or you're gonna go outside and push.
Yes. That's the one. You'll actually see Garibaldi carries out the threat and makes him get into a spacesuit to actually get out and push.
Things were so much easier on Babylon 5. Jeez. No ships around B5? And here's our lead female alien for the movie.
She's actually along with Galen, probably the best character in Crusade.
What race is she? Because she doesn't look familiar.
She's a new race, I think, but her species, well, I think you see it later on. Her species is discussed later on in it, and it's kind of a part of the plot.
Okay. Jeez. She's got more knives than the Joker. here comes in one of Galen's wacky visions. Well, that's certainly apocalyptic. And for those of you that are watching along with us, we are at 13 minutes and coming up on 30 seconds.
I was saying that I didn't realize I was muted. There was a special effects accident happened here that they were blowing the fans to simulate the wind, and it blew the background. It was a matte painting, and they said it worked so well to make the sky shimmer that they left it in.
I will say the CGI is a lot better, and the green screen is definitely a lot better in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's no paper mache snow globes, so that's cool.
Yes. Daltcon 7. I will say the cores are better than those on a Klingon ship.
And here we see that Garibaldi was serious about making him get out and push. Like in this scene, how Babylon 5 really does look like it's a bustling hub. Sometimes, even though they had a lot of background extras in the main show itself, it still felt not as crowded.
Alive.
Yeah.
Yes, Drake, you get to live for another 10 minutes. Oh, gee, and a mysterious mark just happened to be covered by a piece of fabric. Isn't that convenient? Oh, slow motion pan shot. This can never be good. Hey, and Fionn's here. And here's another member.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy. I am about to explode, but that salmon good.
What?
I had
What?
salmon instead because the other restaurant didn't open properly, so we went to Outback.
Hey, that works.
Outback is awesome. I love Outback.
Yes, it is.
I love that
man.
onion
The three cheese-
peel. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
It's
the
not an onion peel,
McBari.
it's an onion blossom.
Yes, it's the McBaris of our universe, but it tastes so
No, it
good.
isn't because the food's better than McBari's.
Well, it's actually a Minbari delicacy that we're eating.
Oh man,
Yeah.
what was it? The three cheese steak dip. Yeah, good stuff. And now back to our regular scheduled programming.
And then they serve the other gray meat.
Oh no!
Ooh,
I imagine
spoon.
Barry would have
What's
liked
for
what I
dinner?
ate today.
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
Looks a bit like Gaius Baltar.
Just a smidge.
Yes.
And Fianna, just in case, we're at 19 minutes and 30 seconds.
Alrighty then.
I think maybe the Region 2 release is slightly different because I'm playing at the same speed and yet sometimes you sound behind and sometimes you sound like you're ahead. Because I'm at 1930 and you're describing stuff that's already happened for me. But we're close enough.
Oh man, and delicious bread. I'm sorry, but it's like, yeah, that was a good meal.
Fianna, we're watching Call to Arms.
Okay, because I just wanted to remember which one it was this time, but oh man, yeah. Oh boy. I gotta admit though, I do like the new Dorina character. Well, new if you're first watching it.
Yeah. She's interesting.
Because I personally think this thing had a good balance between like the people you know and that are established versus like some of the newer faces. I gotta admit though, I definitely like the designs of the Excalibur and its sister ship. It's gonna be very nice. Very nice. They're kind of like swords that go through space.
Yep. And you know, I just realized something. This Thieves Guild operates almost exactly like the Thieves Guild in Skyrim.
I think it's a nice touch to have, let's say, like the Thieves Guild, because in the main, like Babylon 5 series, like Nagroth, his group were all wiped out. Deuce's group were wiped out, were stomped on. A lot of the criminal elements were.
Well, that and you didn't really see them too much unless it was like the crew has to go into down below kind of elements.
But I think was it in season 5 when the Rangers came and stomped on the guy who was trying to take over? So that kind of opened it up from what I'm seeing, for the Thieves Guild to move in and kind of make it a bit more legitimate businessman club.
And I can respect that.
It's a nice touch to say no like that they're yes for racketeering, yes for pickpocketing, but no to violence. And it's a nice touch for the balance that there's a bit of intelligence.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing: it takes skill to be a thief. Anybody can kill, unless you become an assassin. That's a different story entirely.
I think we see that Zach is a pretty good chief of security, that he runs a pretty tight ship.
I guess it kind of reminds me of like they have a particular code. And yeah, it does take more skill if you can manage to hit your mark without any collateral damage. I still think it's funny though. It's like, yes, we'll put these nice pair of sunglasses on him to make him look more like so stylish. But if you can't see his eyes, you can't guess what he's going to do though either. Because a lot of people give away what they're going to do if you can look them right in the eye.
Um, that's your buddy Galen playing with your head.
Yes, and I don't know how far ahead I am or if I'm right on balance, but it's like, yes, take out that darn asteroid with extreme prejudice.
We're at 24. Well, I'm at 24 minutes and coming up on 25.
Okay.
Well, isn't that just nifty?
I know, it's the super main
Nice
pew
effect.
pew.
Yes.
Yeah, you could tell they definitely wanted to showcase what these ships could do.
Well, hey, a minute.
And it's nice that they've included a weakness, that it's not a I think JMS mentioned that some of the characters he built in, or some of the things he built in, he made them too powerful. And he didn't want to have a super ship that could just curb stomp everyone. He had to give him a flaw.
Well, yeah, so by combining Vorlon and Minbari tech with human tech, each power system had to counterbalance itself. But I do like the fact that Galen's like, yes, you're the one that I can basically send these weird cryptic messages to because you won't dismiss me out of hand. Sheridan's like the expert on that. But I do like the fact that Galen's kind of trying to pull him in, without him exactly realizing what's going on at first. Because usually Sheridan can make some pretty good assumptions with what little data he's given.
And this is an interesting counter to what the Vorlons have been saying, that they wanted to kill anyone touched by shadows. They said because they're completely corrupted. Yet the technomages were created by the shadows, and they rebelled against them.
Yeah, man, them Drock have had competition. Yeah. But I'm guessing maybe that's the reason why the shadows might have recruited the Drock, because they were more compliant.
Oh, hey, and to the chat, MB Geek, let's talk. Hey, bud, good to see you too.
Yes, fear makes wise men foolish. That is true. And this is a nice callback to, season 2, where he got to meet Elric and his whole, shall we say, stopping over at pit stop at Babylon 5. Although, if you guys want to know what happened with those guys from season 2 up to about now, you can get the Technomage trilogy. Let me see if I can find that link.
Yeah, I'm hip.
Yes.
Doom.
And Wayne Alexander.
Yep.
Honestly, even though he's just a cameo, he does deserve to get roles simply for the roles he played throughout the series. They were awesome.
Next time, I'm going to have to remember to keep this as like a quick link. Come on, search Foo. Oh, yes, Galen, right on the money. Oh, boy. Ah, yes, the other part. Don't tell anyone what you're doing, specifically, especially why you're doing it. Luckily for him, Sheridan is quite comfortable doing that. He's done it before. I don't think anyone would believe this anyway. Yeah. Because, for all intents and purposes, the technomages aren't really that well circulated even in the Babylon 5 universe. Londo knew about them because of, ancient Centauri tales.
But it's interesting here, it's only human technomages seem to be left. I don't know the lore myself because I just watched the TV series and TV movies, so I don't know anything about the books. But if there were Centauri technomages, I wonder what happened to them, or were they just absorbed into as processors for shadow ships?
And now Sheridan has to play dance around everybody, even Mr. Garibaldi. And Mr. Garibaldi's going to be like, what? Of course, Mr. Garibaldi has enough history with Sheridan to know that, yes, there's definitely something else up. I want to understand it, but he will probably take Sheridan more on faith than anything else. Somewhat. And I think it's fun that you find out that Sheridan can draw at least halfway decent.
MB Geek, we're watching the last TV movie called Arms. Okay, Geek, will do, bud. Chasing fireflies. He isn't a bad artist. And there's Mr. Tony Todd, aka the Candyman, aka the Mortician from Final Destination, aka Ben from the Night of the Living Dead remake.
Yep, the other link in this lovely puzzle. Because Galen had to find enough people that are just go on belief, you know? And what's fun is Dorina's one of those as well. And that dynamic's only going to grow in Crusade a bit. I mostly think Dorina kind of bonds with Galen because they're both semi-outsiders.
Yeah.
And I gotta admit, I do like the new effects for the jump gates and everything else. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that one. Geek, Johnny Valentine from Wishmaster. I never saw that one. And this is the part of the dialogue where Sheridan's going, I think, and maybe, and I don't know.
Can you repeat the question?
No. She's good.
Good at what? Baking pizza? I mean,
No, Dorina. She, that little pickpocket she just pulled off was pretty good.
right.
Well, darling, you're cornered. Yeah, Geek he is.
Took a lot of dudes to bring her down.
Well, she kind of had to be captured. Because she's also vital to this whole conundrum.
Xandar Prime. Was my dead during
And see, what's fun about having her come from like a supposed dead world? You can have so many different plot threads that can be introduced because of that. which Crusade was trying to build up on it at certain points.
I also forgot. Toyota was also on Star Trek Next Generation. He was Worf's brother.
Yes. Forgotten that.
He was pretty good in that part, too. Brother's name was Kern. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that you could get Walkley and all of them back together for a moment.
Yeah.
Because I think she eventually grew into, even over just the space of one season, like she belonged there. Kind of like how Sinclair, even though he had to leave after the first season, well,
Yeah.
he was still a fixture. Like, you can't have Babylon 5 without him. Yeah, my stubborn butt's still looking for these files. It's like, I know I have it here somewhere. And then once I find that, I'll have the website so I can link it. Gosh dang it. Because I think the Technomage trilogy is definitely worth it. Here, I think I know there's one way I can do it. Because I got the file on my Kindle. Gosh darn it.
He's not wrong. Here's the thing. Sheridan's right. There is not a darn thing they could have done to stop that Shadow Planet Killer. They didn't have the weaponry. Even with the... I mean, okay, maybe if the Vorlons were on their side and they had a Vorlon Planet Killer on their side, then yeah, maybe they could have taken out that Shadow Planet Killer. But just on their own, even with the Minbari ships, there's no way in hell that Sheridan and his bunch could have done anything to destroy the Minbari Planet Killer or the Shadow Planet Killer and save her planet. Now, I get she's pissed, and not unjustifiably so. But she's got the wrong target.
Yeah. And it just goes to show how many other worlds like hers were destroyed, and they had to make the decision, like between Centauri Prime and Coriana 6, that it's down to numbers, or numbers are spread. And I like that he didn't apologize for, we had to make a decision, your entire race is wiped out, but we could do nothing. And that's so different to others. Yes.
Poor Mr. Drazi. I know what happened to him, but he is a part of the puzzle too.
Is he dead?
Yes, but he has a key MacGuffin on him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got what, two or how many of the new ships did they have? Like two or three of them?
In this, two.
Okay.
And I think they were working on a third, but it wasn't ready to leave dry dock yet.
Yeah. I remember seeing bits and pieces of this movie, but I never got to watch it all the way through way back when. Come to the link right now.
That was definitely a callback to season 2, Captain Happy Sheridan.
Oh man, him and his oranges.
Captain Happy.
Yeah, it says a lot about Dorina's character when she's like preparing for trouble by sharpening her knife. Oh boy.
And it's nice they throw in that people on both sides of Civil War were good.
Yeah.
Is this Captain was it Tony Todd's character says we stayed with Clark, but we wish we changed.
Well, and some of those people were also kind of forced to work for Clark.
And I think some who served with Sheridan did it because they could see the writing on the wall, not because they didn't support Clark.
You know, there was something else Tony Todd was in a number of years ago. I think it was never released in theaters. It was a fan project, a very well funded fan project. It was called Axanar. Do any of you remember it or hear about it?
Axanar is going to be released. It's being worked on. It's going to be released, but it's split into
parts,
smaller parts to accommodate the rules that CBS has set up for Star Trek fan projects. But Axanar is going to come out.
They?
It's taking forever, but it's going to happen.
Well, good. Really,
I've actually seen some of the material. I've been in touch with the creators. I've actually read the script.
okay.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. Just a shame Richard Hatch isn't alive to carry on his character.
Yeah. The movie I saw, it was like 20 minutes long. It was called Prelude to Axanar, and Tony Todd played a Starfleet Commodore or something. And it was my first time really interacting with any type of like fan projects, and now here I am creating my own. And it was incredibly well done, and it was mostly
because
just
it was done by industry professionals. That's why it was so
That's true.
polished. Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it was that's what caught the attention of CBS, because you had all of these professionals involved in every aspect, including the actors. So it was, yeah. I mean, they even had Gary Graham back as Saval from Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah, I remember that. He was. I remember one line. There are bits and pieces of dialogue that I remember from that, and his character Saval said, "Do not push the pink skins too far over the thin ice." Saval.
Yeah, Gary Graham, he's another one. He's a hell of an actor, and
Yeah.
I mean, seeing him back as Saval was something else.
Wasn't Saval like a Vulcan ambassador or dignitary or something on Enterprise?
Yeah, he's a Vulcan. He's a Vulcan.
Oh, Vulcan. That's what I meant. Vulcan.
He's definitely a Vulcan.
Yeah, obviously. He was a
Yeah,
Vulcan ambassador.
I just love these ships though. They're like the good mix of between like human design and Minbari design, really.
Yeah. Well, and Vorlon, don't forget, it's
Yeah, there's a little bit of
reversed-
Vorlon in there. But even if you look at them at this angle, it's kind of like a mixture between a sword and like a typical ray gun. I love it.
That's kind of the reason why they called one ship Excalibur. What they call it? What was the name of the other ship? Does anybody remember?
Victory, I think.
Okay.
Actually, I think just listening to the commentary on the DVD, the ships are actually back to front. Originally, they were supposed to be the other way around, but they said it didn't look right. They flipped it around the special effects, and they said they felt it looked much better.
Well, fun little fact for those of you that are Star Trek fans. I mean, I'm a Star Trek fan, not as much as Star Wars, but the design of the Reliance for Star Trek 2, that ship was inverted, and when they showed the schematics or the blueprints to, I think, Roddenberry, or not Roddenberry, but Nicholas Meyer, he's like, perfect, I want it that way. But it was supposed to be, the engines were supposed to be on top, but instead they're like, well, he liked it this way, so let's just do it that way. And I've always loved the design of the Reliant and everything. The one thing that these ships remind me of, their design, it reminds me just a little bit of the one of the Separatists' ships from the Clone Wars. It reminds me of, especially where the bridge is situated, it reminds me of the Invisible Hand, the ship that Luke, the Anakin, and Obi-Wan infiltrate to rescue Palpatine. At the beginning
Did y'all notice Tony Almeida from 24 on the bridge of this ship?
I didn't. I've never watched 24. Thank you, Alicia.
And here they go in the drop ship. Luckily, they're not heading to an unstable, like the Great Machine is not down there, but other kinds of worrisome things are down there.
For those who are watching,
yes.
For those who are watching along, we are at the 51-minute mark. So,
but yeah, you can definitely tell for this particular movie they had a bigger budget.
well, that's obvious.
And yes, I finally found the gosh darn link, so that way people can pick up the Technomage trilogy.
Yay! If you want to go and pop it into the public chat, Fiona, go by all means, go ahead.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be offering a site like this if they would just darn well re-release these things as a regular ebook, because getting the physical copies is nigh impossible in some cases because of reprint issues. But it has all three of them in there with the also be interested in segment. That's the reason why I wish more people would take advantage of like ebook formats, especially for stuff that is out of print. It's like a lot of these places can bring these books back into the printing circulation and see what the demand is if they offered an ebook copy.
Yeah, ebooks are definitely a great way to test the waters. Absolutely.
That, and apparently this site also has some of the Mongoose Publishing B5 tabletop RPG books, which Mongoose Publishing can't publish it anymore. JMS won't let them. So if you want to see what a Babylon 5 tabletop RPG looks like, yes,
Jake. Go ahead, Fiona.
CSI Drazi Edition. Oops.
I'm wondering, I think, Drake, I think, are you in the UK? Because maybe Region 2 has a different time setting, because I'm having to, when you describe what's happening on screen, I'm having to pause because it's gone on ahead.
Wait a minute, could that Drazi have been a ranger?
I think he was.
Yes.
You don't care about the legends of the Rangers, remember? Just saying.
I'm asking about this particular Drazi.
I think he was like an archaeologist or at least a scavenger of some sort.
Drazis can't be Rangers.
They have been, though. They were in the... One of them sacrificed themselves. Oh, okay. Okay, for the purposes of...
No, unfortunate.
I'm sorry. I am discriminating against the Drazi at this point.
No, I'm just looking at this. It's like, yes, there's a special pouch the Drazi have under their arm. It's like, that's not a pouch. That's their... Oh, no. I'm learning, unfortunately.
No. Sometimes a pouch is just a pouch, okay?
I don't want to. Pouches are underneath their arm. I don't want to know how.
We need to describe to the ambassador in great detail. We need to describe to the ambassador in great detail exactly what the uses of this pouch are for.
Nope.
So let me start to explain. There's a bit of an insertion that is involved with the pouch.
Well, obviously, but I don't want to know how the hell a Drazi. I don't want to know how the Drazi procreate. There's some things.
It's not exactly as obvious as you think, Ambassador. Would you like me to go into detail?
Well, but looking at some of this other stuff, they had so many plot points they could have explored in Crusade, springboarding from this movie, like dead planets, super weapons, like you name it, they could have shoved it in there. Yeah. But no, even though it's just a quick look at some of these characters, I like the development that they gave Darina and a few of the others. Like, you got a sense of who they were before they popped up for a couple episodes in Crusade.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of nice that they brought in some of the characters for Crusade here, so they were introduced rather than dropping every single one.
Wait just a damn minute. I can't believe I missed this. Does Drake work for the Drock?
I'm trying to remember. Because it has been a while since I've watched A Call to Arms. I know that the one captain will be making the big damn hero moment later on. But yeah, now I think about it, it wouldn't surprise me if he was like a plant. But I think he is being blackmailed by the Drock.
If he turns out to be a turncoat, I hope he gets spaced.
All will be revealed.
Well, I'm sure. It's just a shame they couldn't come up with that new effect for the jump points sooner.
Yeah, because it really is nice. They use that same effect even in the Lost Tales setup. And then they, of course, Sheridan got to have that reporter puke all over the place because they introduced a new version of, Jump Kate or FTL kind of layer that lets them get around even faster.
We don't mention Lost Tales on this stream. It offends the ambassador.
I never said it offended me. I'm just not terribly interested in it.
You're doing yourself a disservice, my friend.
Eh.
Man, you know what? For Babylon 5, this is a simple way to get you to care about a character. You just do a quick comms setup with their family. So yeah, it sets up the fact that he has a lot to protect back home as well. So
yeah, it's good storytelling.
Looking at the Drazi, he doesn't have a ranger pin on him, so he probably wasn't a ranger.
I'm thinking he was a scavenger or like semi archaeologist setup. I think the opening part of the movie showcased him a little bit, from what I remember. Because I kind of skipped forward to get to where you guys were at when I initially popped up. And see, look, the dream spoke to him. So yeah, Galen knew what he was doing.
Yep.
And yeah, now that I look at it, I'm flipping through the Technomage trilogy real quick. They did tie some stuff to Mr. Morden as well. Because the beginning of the Technomage trilogy, because it does start during season 2. And you get to even see flashbacks to Galen before everything happened on Babylon 5 with Eldrick. Oh yeah, that's right. Because the Drock were testing out the weapon to see how to operate it to take it against Earth later on.
Except they never showed up. Oh boy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mr. Drazi was found.
Yep. But he left him a good. All right. Let's see what these ships can do against a Drock fighter. It's a delivery truck I've ever seen.
That's because good old Drockies are trying to figure out what the heck are these ships. That other guy looks familiar, though. I think he's been in a couple of different shows.
That's Tony Almeida from 24.
Okay. It's been a long time since I watched 24.
He's wearing, he's got the glasses on, and he's.
Hey, looky!
Oh, look, it's Martin Sheen. Oh, wait.
Auto translate Microsoft Sam of the Babylon 5 universe.
Face of the enemy. Yeah.
And here we go. You get to see Dorina being sneaky.
This is some serious stuff, guys.
It's mind games. But it proves that, she has a more underhanded outlook, not to diminish other people, but the Drakh are kind of like thieves too, but in a different way.
One of the
It's a
things that
shame Carlos. It's a shame Carlos Bernard, aka Tony Almeida, didn't carry over as a character on Crusade. It would have been nice to see him on there.
Although I think the lady in the front didn't she?
She looks
I don't know.
like the
I don't know.
Doctor.
I look at Crusade as a distant memory. That's why I'm really looking forward to watching the series with you guys, because it
Yeah, I'm gonna get.
It was
get
one.
hold
It was
of,
like
um,
it was
The
like
lady right
it
next
was
to
like
him.
it was like Roger Corman's take on the Babylon 5 universe to me.
Yeah, not on the other guy's ship, but on the ship that Sheridan's on. That other lady looks familiar too. I think they've used her in the series before.
Yeah, you're actually right. I was just checking it. She was in Crusade. She plays the let's see, the other arms. She plays a doctor in Crusade.
Okay, then. So I wasn't going nuts.
Well, no more
there's
nuts than
one.
usual.
There we go. He's firing the lasers. Pew, 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 pew. And Drakh is trying to book it. But the Interstellar Alliance popo's on their ass.
Dorina sneaky. Nah. Yep, Drake.
One of the things I like about Babylon 5 is the characters work with each other rather than one or two being super beings. That everything, they're always right. Where Drina corrects Sheridan and he goes with her, relies on her knowledge because she has more savvy in other areas than him. I think it's one of the aspects too, like with SG1, that worked as well. They worked as it was a true team and ensemble.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of shows are missing that nowadays. It's like, I get it, creating internal drama by having people doubt each other, but I'm a bit burnt out on that.
For those of you watching along, we're at 1 hour and 6 minutes. So. Oh boy.
And
Yep. And here it is.
You're in trouble.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, I do like that effect of how, like, on the fin, it shows the burners trying to keep the ship from going in. It's like that bright blue fire. But then, of course, it's like, what the heck is that thing? Uh-oh. It's like they just barely.
Pretty lights on ships.
Yes, definite pretty lights. Oh no! And so some more Drakis explode. Yeah. They even gave a facelift to the lovely like red and black fun times of being in hyperspace. And I have to admit, like the main like command deck area for that ship is pretty nice.
Yep.
Like, sorry, Captain Lockley, we have we have some trouble. Yes, we can name drop Delenn even if she's not actually in this movie, because it's Delenn. And that is true. Lockley was a little bit more, shall we say, not so much a loyalist, but she's not a very obvious, firebrand of rebellion like Sheridan was.
Oh, cool, Drake. Yeah, Drake. I think you mentioned that. Maybe. So you can do, luckily.
Oh man.
Luckily.
But at least she did believe him.
Yes.
But that's the reason why eventually good old Drox are gonna have to pull out their plan B, which is nearly as nasty.
Yeah, the virus.
Maybe that's what
Oh,
Koj's working on.
Huh?
Maybe that's what Koj's working on. He can't come and join us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's in med lab.
I'm glad they mentioned Luchenko, because I wondered if she actually was still president of EarthGov. She seemed very pragmatic, and I liked the character, although we only met her twice in the whole series. That was back in season 4.
Yep, anomaly in the system. Yep. He's the Benedict Arnold.
Who, Drake? Well, duh.
Yep.
It's interesting too. I think Garibaldi a couple of seasons ago would have believed Sheridan sooner, but I think being boss of a corporation where he's dealing with BS every day, people trying to cover their asses, lying outright to him, he's become much more suspicious.
No sense of being in a secret group if you tell people about it. Except for a certain someone has seen the design. And here comes Mr. Garibaldi Nose.
It's always some sniveling punk of an actor that they get for these roles. It's so funny. Perfectly cast.
The Jock made me a bear offer.
Okay, yeah, forget blackmail. He's just a,
They never
yeah.
cared about what happened to me.
He must be from Mars.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like, I get that some Martians would resent Earth, but not enough to kill off all the human race, I don't think. But of course, they have to have a selfish prick like this. It's like, what did the Drock really offer the dude, you know? They hate humans just as much as this guy seems to hate Earth.
He actually acts like a lot of the Night Watch people did after they were cleared off the station. They're just petty, spiteful, oily
Ooh.
little rats.
Now that was smart. You know, besides
Yes.
Garibaldi saying he could dream dark, doing that little flick with the fighting pike. Yeah, there you go.
Not to mention, we got a Weasleyer version of Morden 2.0, except Morden was actually somewhat cool.
Well, he was the dangerous kind of charismatic too. And if you look at the Shadow book that had Sheridan in it and what happened to Anna, yeah, you get to see more of Morden before he was shadowfied. It's like he was the kind of guy who could drag you in with a nice smile, and it's just uh-oh. And that was even before he joined the bad guys. I don't
Well, I'm
know who
pretty sure
did
they
the
believe
wardrobe,
Lockley.
but I like that jacket. Very nice
Who,
jacket.
Sheridan's? Who,
Yes.
Sheridan's?
Yes. It's like
I
I
think
wonder
Who
if he ever,
Sheridan's? Who Sheridan's?
yes.
Who
And I
Sheridan's?
wonder if he
Okay.
took it
All
home.
All right, Zod.
Yes.
Who Sheridan's? All right.
Yes. But I bet you the actor and actresses took a lot of props home when they could.
Finest spool letter.
Yeah, you haven't seen nothing yet, but it's coming.
It's a real thing, Junior.
Yeah, I like how they pick somebody from the Russian consortium. Yep, here it comes, everybody.
Here comes trouble.
And thankfully, they all believe him now.
That's a lot of Omegas. Yes, Bureau 31 it is.
But yes, that is true. You get 215, we get Earth. Yes. Oh no.
Well, golly, the Alliance showed up awful quick.
They made Earth look awfully pretty in the background for that shot. Nice and blue.
Yes, they did.
We don't want that on your pizza. Go away, Jack.
Go suck a drock. Sorry, bad joke.
Oh
Yeah, what's
Okay.
up, Drock?
Bear pun. Go suck it, drock. Suck it long and suck it hard.
Man, it looks like that thing has what? How many forward beam cannons? Like 3 or 4 at least. Because even the regular stuff is pretty potent. I could paint this thing in oils. Yep, and since she's a thief, she kind of knows where the real weak point
Yes.
would be. Because these guys are thieves too. Thieves of lives. Yep. Yeah, she's laying down the facts.
Clever girl.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy. Here comes the grand finale.
Yeah, for those of you watching along, we're an hour and 21 minutes.
Yeah, time to put all that betting money where your mouth is.
Even the inside of those things look creepy, just like their creators.
I know. Because it still has remnants of shadow tech, so it's going to
Well,
have
it
that
is,
weird, goopy black inkiness. Eesh.
it is shadow tech. It's not left over. The shadows built it.
Oh man, I forgot the darn Excalibur and everything had those side cannons like along the midsection. So that way it wouldn't be left vulnerable on its port and starboard. Nice. That's right, because Papa Bear's gonna protect his kid from the monsters. He's gonna have to pull a Sheridan.
He was as good an Earth commander as he was a Klingon.
Yes.
Ride or die.
To quote a wise Klingon, today is a good day to die.
And he does what Sheridan did in the final moment of the Earth Civil War, where he went to ram the automatic defense system.
I've grown accustomed to disappointment. Oh, there it comes.
God stand between you and harm.
And here she goes. And I like the fact that the guns on the midpoint of that thing rotate too.
Yeah. Covers, it's a good field of fire.
Monty Python, run away, run away.
I mean, sure, that guy was only in that movie, but he was really effective. Yep, and now they gotta run like hell.
Yep.
Yeah, because since they triggered it a bit early, that means that mechanism's going to try to close up. Oh, I have to admit, they did do a nice facelift on the regular ships in this movie, too.
Yeah, they did.
Like, look how fast the darn human ships are moving alongside, the Excalibur. Like, dang, man. This is as faster as I can go.
Not fast enough. Go faster.
Man, Sheridan's always cutting it close.
Yep, like a pair of other sci-fi captains we all know and love. Can you say Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Captain James T. Kirk, Captain Han Solo, and Captain Lando Calrissian? Well, General Lando Calrissian.
Captain Ed Mercer.
Oh, but here comes the kicker. Oh, no.
Yeah. The damn Drock plague.
And it didn't take much. Only a handful of ships had to get through to get the
even in the future they have plagues and pandemics they have to fight. So yeah.
And now poor Earth has to be quarantined.
Yep, 14 days or more.
Oh, Lord.
Everybody's gonna have to wear masks now.
But no, but the fact that Darina doesn't have any idea, and it's like, oh, but that makes the kicker even worse.
Bless you.
And of course, you'll get to see a bit more of this supposed council in Crusade a bit. And of course, Galen's going to be like kind of the odd man out when it comes to that too, because he's a very proactive techno mage in comparison to his fellows.
Yeah, who sit around and just look
Fight.
cryptic.
Yes. Babylon 5 Season 3. Yeah, see, quarantine. There you go.
Yes.
See? Get your masks.
Of course, it was engineered by the Shadows.
It was engineered by the Shadows, and it was made in a lab.
They probably
Yeah, the
reason
Shadow
why Shadows
Lab.
made it. Because
Yes.
what if President Clark would have rebelled against the Shadows once he felt, Earth doesn't need them anymore? Oopsie!
They would have just eliminated Clark.
Or just eliminated humanity alongside him. Because they're too uppity to be our proper pawns.
Well, I mean, that's definitely the what would be the word? The final solution, so to speak.
Yeah.
They can't, because TNT's not going to give Crusade 5 years.
Nope. Didn't give it
5 years. What did it get? 12 episodes?
13 or 14.
Cancelled too soon and aired out of order.
Well, when we get to Crusade, I'm gonna get a hold of Kojay and have him send us the proper the Straczynski authorized play order for Crusade.
Yeah, we'll definitely watch it in Straczynski's order. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We don't want to watch it in the Baywatch in space order. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Man, just seeing this last shot here, it's like Excalibur's pretty big. Like quarter of the size of Babylon 5 in terms of length.
What's compelling about this film for me is the fact that this movie is essentially the pilot episode for Crusade, with none of the cast members of Crusade making an appearance in it. It's kind of
except for Dorina.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre.
Well, yeah, there's Dorina, but also, technically the Doctor was in there too because she was on Sheridan's ship. And Galen, because Galen I would consider a main character in Crusade.
I'm sure there were plans to eventually use Sheridan for Crusade had Crusade continued on, but
yeah.
Well, yeah, because they were going to have Lita in there. They had Franklin make a pit stop in there. They were going to have Jakar at some points.
Yeah,
Dang it, TNT, we could have had more Jakar, but no.
I just popped the viewing order there into the chat.
Okay, thank you, Elysium. All right, folks. And that is Call to Arms. Pretty darn good movie.
I would probably say that in the beginning and Third Space were probably my favorites out of them.
I would have to say of my favorites, I mean, now that I've watched this, I've been able to watch it all the way through. For me, it goes in the beginning, Call to Arms, Third Space. Well, of course, you keep forgetting the pilot. The pilot's technically a movie as well.
Yeah, The Gathering.
Yeah, The Gathering, but of the official movies that TNT produced. I'd have to say in the beginning, Third Space and Call to Arms, and then Reversals. So
I would have to say, for me, I would have to say in the beginning, Lost Tales and A Call to Arms would be the top 3 for me.
Yeah, I really do think Lost Tales is worth it. I mean, it's sad that he wasn't going to make any more stuff because he wanted
It's
a
just
bigger
so
budget.
it's just so touching
But
because of the fact that it not only it literally pays great homage to actors who were no longer around at the time that they did that, and it was a very I just found it to be a very had a really good story, and for what it was, for being released, a direct to video project, I thought they did a wonderful job. It definitely had a bigger budget than any of these movies that we got, maybe with the exception of In the Beginning, which was pretty big. So
I think In the Beginning was my introduction to B5. It was premiering on the TV when I was in college, and at the time I knew nothing about Babylon 5, and I just walked in on the thing. I think the humans knew they were doomed, and I thought, wow, at that stage I thought, in this sci-fi series, do humans actually go extinct? I thought that is a really bold and brave thing to do for a show. Now, it didn't work out that way, but it was just, for someone who had never seen Babylon 5 before, coming in on that was some introduction.
the reason I like In the Beginning as much as I have, and for those of you who weren't around at the time when I did that review, it's on the B5 playlist, so it's towards the beginning of that particular playlist. So, but the reason I like it is because I always like back history. I like backstory. I like having the world built out, and I like seeing events that I've never seen before. That's why I liked In the Beginning as much as I did. And well, I'll repeat a little bit of the line that I repeated when I did that review. For Babylon 5, this was its genesis. It's Bereshith. For those of you that are thinking, did the ambassador just have a mini stroke? No. Bereshith is actually the ancient Hebrew, which essentially means in the beginning, or first things first. My seminary education comes in handy at times. So, but the Earth-Minbari War was something we were always told about, and we only saw brief glimpses of. It's something that we never got until we got In the Beginning. And the fact that they used Londo to tell that story was, I think, a masterstroke of storytelling. I mean, you had old Londo towards the end of his life. He was still under the control of the Drakh, and some of the dialogue in that movie is some of the very best that Straczynski ever wrote. Just like Elysium just mentioned, when he said, "I think the humans knew that they were doomed, but for 3 years, they fought, they died, they said their prayers, they kissed their loved ones goodbye, and then threw themselves into the very jaws of death."
well, that was dramatic.
And what was the one, I think, what did he say? When it comes my turn, I hope I die with half as much dignity as I saw in their eyes at the end.
They never ran out of courage. They simply ran out of time.
And that was my introduction to Babylon 5. And I thought, this show is amazing. And the guys, it was my best friend's apartment, and his flatmates were just raving about this show I'd never heard of. And when it came on TV again, I watched it from the very start and just fell in love with it.
Babylon 5 was a show that me and Mother Ambassador caught in not syndication, but it was shown late night at midnight on Saturday nights on one of our local TV stations, and that's how we got into it. We would get off work, and we were just flipping through channels, and I don't even remember what episode it was in particular, but we were like, what the hell is this? And we were both, we've watched an episode, and I looked at Mom, and I was like, have you ever heard of this? She's like, no. She's like, have you? I'm like, no. She's like, it's pretty damn good though, wasn't it? I was like, yeah. And every Saturday night we made sure to get home before B5 started and everything, and it was our way of unwinding. And when summer came around and it would go and they would rerun the previous season, we would still watch it. And every time it got to the cliffhanger, but we were like, okay, when September or October rolls around, the next season will be popping up. And I think we started midway through season 1. And then we got to watch season 1 all over again. And then when season 2 came in, and we were like, wait a minute, where's the other guy? Oh, he's been sent to Minbar. We got a new captain. Okay. And I was like, wait a minute, I know this. This is Tron. I'm like, that's Ruth Boxleitner. It's Tron. I can live with this. And he was a badass.
Who liked oranges? Who really liked oranges?
Well, okay. I'm about to say something that might be a bit of a hot take, but I will say this. John Sheridan was everything that Jean-Luc Picard wished he could be, and even wasn't in the Next Generation movies. John Sheridan could be philosophical, but he could also bust somebody's head open if he wanted to. I'm sorry, as much as I like Patrick Stewart, and I do, in all the roles that he's played, from Gurney Halleck to Professor Charles Francis Xavier, PhD.
Oh, that Picard series is so bad. Oh my!
That's what I've heard.
Look at it.
Oh my God!
That's what I've heard.
Just pretend that it doesn't exist. Like at this point,
that's
watch him read Indies instead.
Oh man, it's painful.
I mean,
I mean, you talk about bad writing. You talk about horrible story structure. Just like, I don't know what's happened, but I feel like you could, as a Star Trek fan, any one of us could write better fan fiction for Picard than what we're getting in this series. Oh,
well, my advice: just let it fade away, starve it of oxygen. It doesn't exist.
Oh my God!
Well, y'all have seen some of the fan fiction from my Star Wars story that I've written, so it must be better than that.
No, actually, your Star Wars, the stuff that you've written is really quite good, and and especially, again, when you look at what they're doing with Picard, I feel like Patrick Stewart was basically told, look, we don't have any ideas for what we should do as a series, but we really want you to come back because we know that people will watch the show if you come back. And that's basically what happened. There's no rhyme or reason for any of the things that they're doing. I would say, I don't like Star Trek Discovery either, but I would go as far as to say that Picard is even worse than Star Trek Discovery, because at least with Star Trek Discovery, they're dealing with new characters so they can do whatever they want. But with Picard, they're messing everything up. And allegedly, for the third season of Picard, they're going to bring back all of the Next Generation actors and ruin their character arcs too. So yeah.
You could essentially say that Star Trek Picard is the sequel trilogy of the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So far, out of the Star Trek stuff that they're the new Star Trek TV stuff that they're doing on Paramount Plus, I think Strange New Worlds is actually the best out of the three, and that's not saying much. It's just that when you get a bunch of incompetent writers that are attached to J.J. Abrams' bad reboot studio, you basically can't expect quality entertainment, especially when you have the guy at the helm is Ava Goldsman. I mean, listen, I'm just, and Alex Kurtzman. I mean, anything they do, you can expect it to be horrible. You can expect it to be, basically run by a bunch of hacks, and that's essentially what you have with current Star Trek. It's really bad. Wow.
Here's the funny thing. As bad as Picard has been, granted, I haven't watched any of it, so I'm gonna take your word as fact, and no reason that I shouldn't. Buzzon. What we had with the TV movies, for the most part, for B5, they were stories that were tied to the B5 universe, but that could also be separate from it. But here's the thing. They add so much more depth and richness to the universe that we already know and love. I mean, the movies, say what you want about River of Souls, the movies were like the cherry on the B5 sundae. Okay. Here's a metaphor I think we can all get behind. At the bottom of the sundae, you have a nice rich pool of caramel sauce. That's season 1. Seasons 2 and 3 are the ice cream. Season 4 is a nice layer of hot fudge. And then on top, season 5 is the whipped cream. And the movies are the cherry.
Well, that's an interesting way to equate Babylon 5 with dessert. That's not bad though. I get where you're going with that. That makes sense. There's a lot of people that complain, like, you can't complain at all about these Babylon 5 movies. If you like, for example, if you like Picard and the current Star Trek stuff that they're offering. And for all the people that complain about, like, for example, Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Star Wars stuff that they're doing over at Disney Plus, though the TV shows that they're doing on Disney Plus are masterpieces compared to what they're doing to Star Trek over at on Paramount Plus. Let's just put it that way.
If you dislike anything postmodern like I do, don't watch it. Don't feed it oxygen. Don't pay attention to it. Don't share it.
Don't wait much.
Share indies you like instead. Like, for me, my Galaxy Ascendant is my new Star Wars, and the Sharon War is my new Star Trek. The old franchises don't exist to me anymore. You can read the old stuff if you want to, but I don't pay attention to anything after 2010 unless I'm feeling particularly morbid.
That's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. And let's talk about, and then of course there's the crown jewel of all current sci-fi post 2010, and that is the Orville. The Orville has basically risen from the ashes of what was classic Star Trek, and what we're getting now,
it's better.
It's
Yeah.
so much better. It's so
The
much
thing
better
is,
than
like-
everything that they got going on right now. It's ridiculous.
That thing
Yeah,
actually
here's-
remembers its real roots, which is pulps. And a lot of
Yes.
postmodern stuff
Yeah.
does not want you to pay attention to the pulps. They don't
Agreed.
want you to know that Doc Savage exists. They don't want you to know that Solomon Kane exists. You know, all these archetypes that fed into the archetypes that people are used to seeing nowadays. Those were the precursors. They don't want you to know about them.
I'll be honest, when it
Well,
comes
you know-
to sorry, my master.
No, go ahead, Lisa. No, go ahead, Lisa. You're fine, bud.
When it comes to new Trek, I haven't seen Strange New Worlds or the that new children's one, Prodigy. I've seen Discovery. Great ideas, but terrible writing, bad characters. Apart from one or two who I enjoyed.
Horrible characters. Yes.
Picard, I actually quite enjoyed, even though I could see some of the writing was terrible. It's broken so many things. It's like they hadn't, in some cases, they hadn't watched Star
Right.
Trek.
They didn't watch
But-
any. They didn't watch any
That's what-
previous Star Trek.
But I loved it. Rios, that character,
Right.
I absolutely loved that character.
But yeah, but
Rafi, liked him. But for me, Lower Decks, I love that show.
But the biggest thing, though, with a lot of these new shows that are coming out, they only know how to deconstruct characters. They don't know how to pick up the pieces to make them a fully realized, somebody you want to follow.
Well, yeah. Now, here's something I will say. With Obi-Wan Kenobi, this was not a deconstruction because Kenobi was already broken. After the events of Revenge of the Sith, he was broken. What we saw here was, I think, a pretty darn good reconstruction of Kenobi, bringing him back to, or at least starting him back on the road to the Kenobi that we would meet in Episode 4.
I will
Now, that's
say
why
this,
I enjoy.
Ambassador.
Huh? Say again, Zod?
I will say this, Ambassador. You need to watch, if you can find it, or if not, if you can't find it, I would be glad to facilitate it for you. There is a fan edit of Kenobi out there.
I've heard
making
about
the
it.
rounds right now, called the Patterson Cut.
I've heard
I
of it.
highly recommend it. It cuts Kenobi down into a 2.5-hour movie, and it is fantastic. It basically all the criticisms and issues people had with Kenobi were addressed and were pretty much fixed in this really tight 2.5-hour edit. It was brilliant. It was very well done. And now for me, when I watch Kenobi, that's from now on, that's what I will watch because it's awesome. It's incredible.
I'll definitely check it out. I will.
Yeah. I think you'll like it. Very well done.
Well, and here's, me and the missus, we're going to be doing a review of this weekend. This is a show that really has flown under the radar, especially since it was running partially concurrently with Kenobi, and that was Miss Marvel. We watched the last episode, last night, and they stuck the landing with Miss Marvel. I know a lot of people, and, this is their prerogative. If they have a legitimate criticism of any of these shows, okay, I'm willing to hear it. But I will say this for these shows, for the Disney Plus shows, both with Marvel and with Star Wars. For me, they have been extremely enjoyable. I will, especially with Miss Marvel, to give y'all just a bit of a sneak preview as to my thoughts on Miss Marvel. It's a character from a different culture, from even a different nationality that I was by no means familiar with, and I'm not. But there are themes of family and finding one's place, and this is the start of another hero's journey. I would say, and this might be going out on a limb, but I'll go out on that limb and stand there by myself if I have to. Miss Marvel, in its totality, is as good as the first Iron Man movie.
I have no horse in the postmodern race, so I will refrain from saying much.
Well, I don't see this as postmodern, Fiona. I know that's your particular perspective. That's fine. I don't look at this as postmodern. For me, all pulp culture is either fits into one of three categories that I've kind of created for myself. One is modern, one is retro, one is ultra retro. Miss Marvel fits into the modern. And I think this is something we often forget as a culture in general. Pop culture is a reflection of the culture as it is seen by the people that live in it, both those that are a part of it currently or those that are coming into it now. Miss Marvel, she's she is a teenage Pakistani girl who discovers that she has superhuman abilities. That's not something many of us can necessarily relate to, although we were all teenagers at one point in time. Granted, we were not all of us were either from Pakistan or even of the Islamic faith. But I watched this movie, I watched this series, and there have been moments within it that I have gotten legitimately choked up. And watching Call to Arms today, getting a chance to actually watch it all the way through. It's a good, solid story. It was I think, a good, solid kickoff to a series that was cut short way too quickly. But then again, these are the things that happen in the entertainment industry, particularly when you've got large corporations that are backing it, and well, they're the ones that have the money to back it. So, anyway, that's enough for my rambling. Guys, let's do final thoughts, and then we'll specifically final thoughts on Call to Arms, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay, my final thought. Let's see. Had plenty of plot hooks that Crusade could have taken advantage of had it got to run its full 5-year course. Yes. If I could give retroactively given the money to complete it, then I would have. Stupid TNT.
More accurately, more stupid Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers at the time did own TNT.
Yeah, unfortunately, they wanted Baywatch in space. The problem is, I think what we're gonna get and what we're gonna see as we move on to Crusade, we're gonna see a lot of what Fiona just said right here, potential. Okay, we're gonna see a lot of potential for what could have been awesome,
and they cut it short.
But also they were very cheap and cheap and disrespectful. Actually,
sadly, considering the kind of money they gave to make some of the Babylon 5, tie-in movies, it's like, really, guys? Then you cheap out on Crusade? What? Oi. But that's because they weren't getting the kind of viewers they wanted next to, the Baywatch and the wrestling and all that was very popular on TNT at the time.
Right.
Because
and it's so funny. They didn't even want the wrestling on TNT, but that's another story.
Yeah, but all the Babylon 5 people would tune in to watch Crusade, but then they'd tune out once the regular part of TNT came on, and the exact opposite was happening. All the TNT people would tune out when Crusade came on, and then they came back once the other regular stuff slotted in. I'm like, Jesus. Painful.
Yes, very much so.
I think for this movie, it was a good baton change from passing from the old to the new. We introduced some nice characters that will show up in Crusade, and you could see so much potential for Crusade and for new stories to be told. Unfortunately, we didn't get much, and Crusade was like season 1 Babylon 5. It was getting going.
Yeah.
And it was cut off way too soon because there were some characters needed a lot more development. There were some elements needed work. But what we saw here was potential.
Yeah. For me, as I said, this movie, getting the chance to watch with friends and watching it for the first time all the way through, it was a lot of fun. This was, I think, for me, one of the it's in my top 3 of the B5 tie-in movies, including the pilot, The Gathering. And it told a good solid story. It tied back to the Shadow War, and I will say this: the character of Dorina Nafili, very intriguing character. I can't wait to see what we get from her in Crusade, but it makes me sad to know that we didn't get more. So, just a quick note, guys, and I'll go ahead and tell you guys this as well and everything. We are going to take next week off because Elysium is going to be away. Him and the missus are going to be spending some quality time together, so we will be taking next Thursday off, but we will be back the following Thursday, and we will be wrapping up, of course, season 5 of B5 with the series finale, Sleeping in Light, and then we will move on to Crusade after that. So just pass that along to all your friends who are regulars here.
Russian comes back! Yay!
I protest. We're not doing it in the correct order, but okay.
Well, technically, we are doing it in the correct order because we're doing it in the order of release because Crusade came out after season 5.
Yeah, but you made it a point to say that we're going to watch Crusade in J. Michael Straczynski's preferred viewing order. So if we do that,
yeah, we're watching
by virtue of that,
but we're doing the main series in chronological order, including the movies. So Call to Arms would have come before Sleeping in Light.
Well, in any event, though, we'll get to see our favorite Russian again. Yay!
Yes, we will. We'll see our favorite Russian hard-ass.
And it also, Sleeping in Light also shows us how much of an afterthought Lockley really was, considering that she's not in it. Just saying.
Yeah. So, anyways, folks, I also want to let y'all know I will be live this weekend, as I mentioned earlier, with my review of Miss Marvel. So that'll be Saturday night at 8:30 Central Time. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. Me and the missus are going to. It may be this weekend, it may be next week, but we are going to be going to see. We are going to go see Thor: Love and Thunder, and we also are going to be continuing our reviews of the X-Men franchise. The next one, of course,
my condolences on Thor: Love and Thunder. Hope you enjoy it.
I've heard good, I've heard bad. So I will make up. As a wise man once said, my own counsel I will keep on what is good and what is bad. So
watch the Minion movie instead.
No.
Yeah, you probably would get a better viewing experience if you watch the Minion movie. Just saying, but yeah.
Like I said, we're gonna go see it, and we'll judge it on its own.
I actually can't wait for your review on this Thor: Love and Thunder crap. I'm really excited to see what you're going to say about it, because I have to say, to me, it is literally the worst MCU movie to ever come out. Like, we're talking bottom of the barrel bad. Like, it's just like, I don't think it can get any worse. And I think that they should actually ban Taika Waititi from the Marvel Studios lot at this point, because that guy is off his rocker and he has completely lost it. But hey, I mean, whatever.
One thing though is, if I ever do get to see certain kinds of movies, it would be like, oh, it happens to be on cable and I happen to be on this channel at this very precise moment. Oh, I see.
Well, I thought he did really good with Ragnarok, so I have nothing but
ouch. Well, okay, but but here's the question I have then. Where do you rank Ragnarok in the greater MCU? Like, where do you place that movie? Is it like one of your top 5? Is it at the bottom? Because based on where you place Ragnarok, I would probably be able to tell you where you're going to put Love and Thunder.
I would put Ragnarok at least in my top 15.
Okay. If you put Ragnarok in your top 15, this one is probably going to be... Well, actually, wait. What was the main thing that you liked about Ragnarok? Like, what was the big thing that stood out for you, like, of everything?
The story about family.
Okay, the story about family.
Yeah,
okay.
The reconciliation of family, the Thor losing seemingly everything, losing his home, but he still had his family, he had his people. I thought some of the performances were actually really good. I thought Cate Blanchett in Ragnarok, she kicked ass as hella. She was, I think, one of the better. I think she's one of the better villains and everything. Of course, the cameo by Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange didn't hurt. Of course, Jeff Goldblum. You can't go wrong with Jeff Goldblum as the Grand Master.
Well, now wait. You've seen the new Jurassic Park, right?
No, haven't had a chance, but I wanted to.
You should probably see that in lieu of seeing Love and Thunder. But just
no, me and the missus have already agreed we're going to go see Thor: Love and Thunder. We're both excited for it.
Where do I see you placing it? Ouch! I don't see, based on what you said you liked about Ragnarok, I could see this kind of you're gonna like this less than Ragnarok. I'm gonna tell you that.
Again,
based on what you said. Now, if you were to tell me that you liked Ragnarok more because of the goofy humor and the fart jokes,
goofy humor didn't bother me.
But if you liked that more than anything else.
The humor never bothered me. I thought the humor was well done.
No. But
I found it funny.
Took the humor from Ragnarok and ramped it up by about 100.
I'm going to be really bad and say you should spend about the $11 on Volume 5 of Fist of the North Star instead.
Well, with all due respect to both you and Zod, me and the missus have made plans to go see this.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work, Fiona. He's totally been indoctrinated by the Marvel. By the Marvel.
No,
formula.
I have not been indoctrinated.
He's been indoctrinated.
I have not been indoctrinated by Jack Diddley. I make up my own mind what I deem as good or bad, and that's the long and short of it. I am not.
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing with you, Ambassador.
One thing,
I'm not being serious.
I wonder how many overall volumes there are of Fist of the North Star.
I can tell you how many volumes there are of Fist of the North Star. Just one moment. I will
because they're going to get up to volume 7 by December of this year.
Yes,
like the re-release.
I believe. Just one moment. I will pull up and tell you here because I do have.
Because I will always promote stuff that's not even as well known as certain other manga or anime is. Because I do like My Hero Academia and everything, but in comparison, Fist of the North Star isn't nearly as well known.
Fist of the North Star has a total, Fiona, of 18 volumes. So we've got about another for the official releases. We've got another couple of years before they'll have released the entire thing in hardcover. But I am enjoying purchasing the hardcovers and having them on the shelf. I love the fact that it's officially released and the volumes are beautiful. I know you agree with me. I mean, I get it.
And it's the hardcover's cheaper than the paperback. Some of the paperbacks are going for over $700.
Yeah, the paperback. And ironically, they never even finished the release with the paperbacks either. So it's like you pay all that money. The only difference with the paperbacks is that they're in color, but that's not really an issue here because the black and white is just so beautiful. I mean, the art is just fantastic. So we are, we're living in a great time right now. You can like things like Thor: Love and Thunder, and you can be indoctrinated by the MCU, or you can like.
I was a Marvel fan long before the MCU.
No, I agree. I understand. Yeah,
So,
the MCU is
all right. Elysium, I'm going to let you have the last word on Call to Arms, and then we're gonna call it.
Call to Arms better than Thor: Love and Thunder.
No, it's like
Elysium. Go ahead, Elysium.
No, Call to Arms for me, excellent. I put in the beginning for me slightly ahead of it, but still, this is a movie I really enjoyed. It has some fantastic characters. Tony Todd, great character. Unfortunately, we don't get to see more of him, but he put in a good showing. And it's perhaps a good thing that a great character like him had that one appearance, like Jack in Comes the Inquisitor. He's one of those characters that is so great for the appearance.
Yep. Or even the former Centauri Emperor. He only had a one-hit wonder, but you know what? He was valuable.
Yes, he was.
That's true.
Wait, are we still on air?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ambassador. I'm sorry for
that.
I actually thought we were off air already.
No,
we're still going.
I haven't done the outro yet. You knucklehead. It's all right. So,
I was talking too much about the MCU. I didn't mean that. I actually thought we were off air.
You're fine.
Oh my God.
You're fine.
Okay.
But
it's our daily modern versus postmodern versus retro, and we all know where I stand. The regress harder, everybody. Yay!
All right, everybody. We're going to get out of here. We will see you all next time. And as always, stay ambassadorial. That means be respectful, have a good time. And if you do those two things, you will always, always, always have a place here amongst the council and, of course, here in the ambassadorial wing. And until next time, this is the Council of One saying 3, 2, 1.
Don't give me rupee.